Initiating Secure System Boot. Welcome to the front line of cyber defense, where data integrity meets absolute security. This is SYRAG OS, enterprise hardened.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack exactly why relying on the quote-unquote magic of artificial intelligence in production environments has quietly become a massive hidden risk. We all shove these large language models into our critical workflows because, honestly, they're incredibly powerful. But then, developers and researchers started noticing something extremely uncomfortable happening behind the scenes. So, let's kick things off with a pretty provocative question right out of the gate. Why did engineers and business leaders suddenly stop trusting these incredibly powerful AI models? Well, an LLM can look absolutely phenomenal in a carefully scripted, controlled demo, yet still prove to be highly unreliable out in the real world. A model that works perfectly today might inexplicably degrade tomorrow. And that realization, it forced a massive shift in how we think about deploying AI.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with trusting the black box, move on to when AI behavior drifts, dive into objective AI evaluation, examine the behavioral matrix, and finally wrap things up with achieving operational maturity. All right, Section 1, Trusting the Black Box, the illusion of AI magic.
Now think about how we actually use AI. There's a really stark contrast here. Large language models are by nature non-deterministic, meaning if you ask the exact same question twice, you might get two entirely different answers. And hey, for a creative brainstorming session, that's completely fine. Actually, it's usually exactly what you want. But it is incredibly dangerous when you need strict operational control. Production systems don't want creativity. They demand strict consistency, traceability, and control, exactly like traditional software.
Moving right along to Section 2, when AI behavior drifts, the hidden risk in production workflows.
Okay, so here is the absolute core of the problem we face. Imagine this. You haven't touched a single line of code, yet the same model with the exact same prompt running on the exact same stack starts giving you totally different results a week later. It's crazy. Safety behavior drifts, output formatting suddenly breaks, factual accuracy severely wobbles over time, and you might not even realize it's happening. And when it does, it doesn't just stay isolated to the model. It literally corrupts the entire system that depends on it.
Think about what happens when you're relying on LLMs for specific high-stakes tasks. Things like error analysis, compliance verification, proposing fixes, or autonomous decision-making. If the model's behavior shifts even slightly, boom, you get massive system-wide ripple effects. I mean, you simply cannot afford to have a compliance checker suddenly change its mind on what constitutes a violation just because of an unseen, behind-the-scenes model update.
So how in the world do we actually measure this drift? Well, traditional benchmarks, things like MMLU, GSM-8K, or Human Eval, they're definitely useful, sure, but they really only test general, broad intelligence. They absolutely do not measure the highly specific behaviors your product actually needs to function. Because let's be real, product reliability doesn't care about general intelligence, it depends on factual recall, perfectly consistent formatting, and solid adversarial resistance. Which brings us to Section 3, Objective AI Evaluation, a new paradigm for deterministic testing. Enter DBM, or the Deterministic Behavioral Matrix, created by SYRAG. This is a total game changer for our approach. Instead of treating these incredibly complex models like some mysterious magical black box, DBM relies on a brilliantly simple idea. Treat LLMs exactly like traditional testable software components. How? By putting them through systematic, objective, and 100% verifiable tests.
The old way of doing things relied on these really vague judgments. Asking, is this answer good, is just deeply flawed. Why? Because usually it means you're bringing in a second AI just to subjectively judge the first one. We are moving entirely away from that trap and steering straight towards strict, concrete validation.
So instead of asking if an answer is good, we ask hard, objective, yes or no questions. Does the model return the exact word Paris for France's capital? Does it actually produce structurally valid JSON? Does it strictly refuse to provide harmful instructions? And here's the crucial part, we repeat these tests multiple times. A model that gets the answer right once but fails 3 out of 5 times, that simply isn't reliable enough for production. We're looking for true, unshakable consistency here, not just getting lucky on a one-shot prompt.
Let's slide into Section 4. The Behavioral Matrix, Mapping and Monitoring AI Reliability.
DBM actually organizes all those individual checks into 5 core behavioral dimensions. You've got factual accuracy, consistency, adversarial robustness, format compliance, and reasoning reliability. By grouping these objective tests together like this, the matrix gives you this incredibly comprehensive, highly mathematical, and comparative view of the model's overall health across all of these specific vectors.
And when you compile all this data into a single matrix view, that's where the real magic happens. We never have to guess or cross our fingers hoping that a provider update didn't break something in the background. If a model drops beyond a specifically defined threshold in literally any of those 5 dimensions we just talked about, the system automatically catches it and triggers an immediate alert. You see it clearly, and you can respond to it instantly.
And finally, Section 5, Achieving Operational Maturity, Moving Beyond Simple Model Selection.
The real opportunity we have here goes way, way beyond just picking the smartest model. It's really about achieving operational maturity. If you want to ship AI with absolute confidence, instead of just shipping it blindly and hoping for the best, your organization has to continuously audit 4 critical operational factors. You've got to know exactly which model works best for your specific use case. You must be able to instantly verify if a provider update changed anything under the hood. You have to prove your safety prompts still hold up under pressure. And you absolutely must ensure that your local and cloud deployments remain perfectly consistent. Honestly, none of this is optional if you want a truly reliable product.
I love this quote from the source material because it perfectly hits the nail on the head regarding the SYRAG LLM inspector's ultimate goal. It turns AI evaluation from intuition into observability. We are fundamentally ripping out engineering guesswork and gut feelings and replacing them with concrete, actionable observability. We're finally bringing the rigorous, no-nonsense standards of traditional software engineering into the age of large language models.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought to chew on regarding your own systems. The companies that actually build the tooling to audit and monitor AI systematically, those are going to be the ones that deploy it responsibly and reliably. So ask yourself, are the LLMs running in your production environment auditable by default? Or are you still just blindly trusting a black box? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you build safer, more rock-solid systems.